Aerobic respiration. Introduction. Respiration is one of the important chemical processes which is carried out by all living organisms, including plants, animals, and humans, in order to release energy required for life processes. Respiration is one of the key ways a cell releases chemical energy to fuel cellular activity. The reactions involved in respiration are catabolic reactions, which break large molecules into smaller ones, releasing energy because weak high energy bonds, in particular in molecular oxygen, are replaced by stronger bonds in the products. The process of respiration occurs both during the presence or in the absence of oxygen. Respiration is of two types: aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration. Aerobic respiration. It is a process of cellular respiration that takes place in the presence of oxygen gas to produce energy from food. Aerobic respiration is common in most of the plants and animals, birds, humans, and other mammals. Anaerobic respiration. It is a process in which the energy is obtained by the breakdown of glucose in the absence of oxygen. One of the best examples of anaerobic respiration is the process of fermentation in yeast. A set of metabolic reactions and processes take place in the cells of organisms to convert chemical energy from oxygen molecules or nutrients into adenosine triphosphate (ATP) and then release waste products. The overall reaction occurs in a series of biochemical steps, some of which are redox reaction. Aerobic respiration. Definition. Aerobic respiration is a process of producing cellular energy in the presence of oxygen. Aerobic respiration is a biological process in which food glucose is converted into energy in the presence of oxygen. Aerobic respiration process takes place in all multicellular organisms, including animals, plants, and other living organisms. This respiration occurs in the mitochondrial matrix of the cell. The chemical equation of aerobic respiration is given as glucose C6H12O6 plus 6 oxygen molecules gives 6 carbon dioxide plus 6 water molecules and ATP as energy. Nutrients that are commonly used by animal and plant cells in respiration include sugar, amino acid, fatty acids, and the most common oxidizing agent, molecular oxygen, which provides most of the chemical energy. The different types of aerobes include obligate aerobes that strictly need oxygen to grow, facultative aerobes which can grow in the presence as well as absence of oxygen, microaerophiles which can grow in the presence of oxygen but cannot survive in the atmospheric concentration of oxygen. Energy is released by splitting glucose molecules with the help of oxygen gas. At the end of chemical reaction, byproducts or end products of the reaction are released, such as energy, water molecules, and carbon dioxide gas. The 2900 kilojoule of energy is released during the process of breaking the glucose molecule, and this energy is used to produce ATP, which are used by the system for various purposes. During respiration process in plants, the oxygen gas enters the plant cells through the stomata, which is found in the epidermis of leaves and stem of a plant. The photosynthesis process occurs in the chloroplast with the help of chlorophyll, and by this all green plants synthesize their food and thus release energy. The given chemical equation describes the complete process of photosynthesis or the aerobic respiration in plant. 6 carbon dioxide molecules plus 6 water molecules gives glucose plus 6 oxygen molecules. Although carbohydrates, fats, and proteins are consumed as reactants, aerobic respiration is the preferred method of pyruvate breakdown in glycolysis and requires pyruvate in the mitochondria in order to be fully oxidized by the citric acid cycle. Cells break down food in the mitochondria in a long multi-step process that produces roughly 36 ATP molecules. The first step is glycolysis, the second is the citric acid cycle, and the third is the oxidative phosphorylation and electron transport system. Steps of aerobic respiration. The complete process of aerobic respiration occur in 4 different stages. Glycolysis, formation of acetyl coenzyme A, tricarboxylic acid, TCA cycle, and oxidative phosphorylation and electron transport system. It is a primary step of aerobic respiration and takes place within the cytosol of the cell. During the glycolysis process, the glucose molecules are split and separated to form 2 molecules of pyruvate, and also 2 ATP and 2 NADH molecules are produced, which are later used in the process of aerobic respiration. Formation of acetyl coenzyme A. The second step in aerobic respiration is the formation of acetyl coenzyme A. In this process, pyruvate is oxidized in the mitochondria and 2-carbon acetyl group is produced. The newly produced 2-carbon acetyl group binds with coenzyme A, producing acetyl coenzyme A. Tricarboxylic acid TCA cycle. The third step in aerobic respiration is the tricarboxylic acid cycle, which is also called as the citric acid cycle or Krebs cycle. In this stage of aerobic respiration, the oxaloacetate combines with the acetyl coenzyme A and produces citric acid. The citric acid cycle undergoes a series of reactions and produces 2 molecules of carbon dioxide, 1 molecule of ATP, and reduced forms of NADH and FADH2. Oxidative phosphorylation involving electron transport chain, ETC. This is the last step in aerobic respiration. In this phase, the large amount of ATP molecules are produced by the transfer of electrons from NADH and FADH2. In eukaryotes, oxidative phosphorylation occurs in the mitochondrial cristae. It comprises the electron transport chain that establish a proton gradient, chemiosmotic potential, across the boundary of the inner membrane, precisely between inner membrane and intermembrane space, by oxidizing the NADH produced from the Krebs cycle. When the chemiosmotic gradient is used to drive the phosphorylation of ADP, ATP is synthesized by the ATP synthase enzyme. The electron transfer is driven by the chemical energy of exogenous oxygen, and with the addition of 2 protons, water is formed. Importance of aerobic respiration. Aerobic respiration provides energy to the living organisms to perform all essential functions of life. It supplies fuel for the repair, growth, and maintenance of cells and tissue, and thus keeps eukaryotic organisms alive. Aerobic respiration is why we need both food and oxygen. ATP powers the action of many enzymes and of other proteins that sustain life.